Alan Carter wiped sweat from his forehead as he walked down the gleaming hallway of Celestial Station. The artificial gravity felt slightly off, making his steps awkward. After 3 weeks in space, he still wasn't used to it. His black diplomatic uniform felt too tight around his neck, but he didn't dare adjust it. First impressions mattered here. "Relax," said Lisa Morgan, walking beside him. Her calm voice contrasted with the tension in the air. "They're just aliens with funny heads, not gods." Alan nodded, but didn't smile. As the most junior member of Earth's first diplomatic mission to the Galactic Council, he couldn't afford mistakes. They passed strange beings from a dozen worlds, some with too many limbs, others with skin that changed colors, and a few that floated rather than walked. "Remember the protocol," said Ambassador Richard Bell from ahead of them. "No sudden movements, no showing teeth, no direct questions unless invited to speak." The older man's voice was steady, but Alan noticed how tightly he gripped his electronic tablet. The human group stopped before enormous doors carved with symbols from 100 alien languages. Guards with blue-gray skin and forearms stood watch, their eyes tracking the humans with obvious suspicion. "Earth delegation," announced Bell. "Here for the scheduled introduction." The doors slid open silently, revealing the council chamber. Alan tried not to stare at the vast circular room. Rings of seats rose up like a giant bowl, filled with representatives from across the galaxy. Light poured in through ceiling panels, showing unfamiliar stars. In the center stood a raised platform where the High Counselors sat, the 7 most powerful beings in this part of space. As the humans walked to their assigned spot, Alan heard whispers and clicks of alien languages. His translator earpiece caught fragments: primitive, warlike, unproven. The session began with formal greetings. Bell spoke carefully about peace and cooperation. The aliens responded with practiced politeness. All was going according to plan until Alan's personal data pad vibrated. A message from an unknown sender appeared. "They have your children, level 47, section 6. Alan frowned. Earth had sent 27 children as part of the Goodwill Exchange program 3 months ago. They were supposed to be learning alongside alien young, living with host families. The official report said they were thriving. He shouldn't break protocol. He should pass this to Bell. But something felt wrong. When the floor opened for questions, Alan found himself standing before his brain fully processed the decision. "The junior delegate has a query," announced the Zalarian chairperson, surprise evident in their multiple blinking eyes. "Thank you, honored chair." Alan's voice echoed, more than he expected. "I seek information about the human children sent for the exchange program." The chamber grew quiet. Too quiet. "They are well," said a tall, thin alien with silver skin. "Their needs are met." "Can we see them?" Alan asked. Uneasy glances passed between council members. "That would not be advisable at present," said the Axilarian. "Their adjustment period continues." "Are they in protective custody?" Alan pressed, using the message's exact words. The chamber erupted. Some aliens stood, others made high-pitched sounds of alarm. The Zalarian's skin flushed dark purple. "We placed them in appropriate containment after observing concerning behaviors," the Zalarian finally admitted. "They engage in mock combat. They create imaginary scenarios involving conflict. They show concerning brain patterns when separated from their group." Alan felt cold spread through his chest. "You locked them up?" "They're children playing games. It's normal human development." "Normal for predator species," hissed someone above him. Bell was pulling at Alan's sleeve, but he couldn't stop. "I demand their immediate release and return." The Dracovian representative rose to full height, towering over everyone. "The humans show exactly the dangerous traits our reports warned about. Even their diplomatic staff cannot control their impulses. This confirms our security concerns." Alarms began to sound. Council security moved toward the human delegation. "This meeting is suspended," announced the Zalarian. "The human delegation will return to their quarters until further notice." As guards surrounded them, Lisa whispered to Alan, "What have you done?" "They have our children locked up," he whispered back. And now I think we're locked up too. Bell's face was ashen as they were escorted out. Behind them, the council chamber descended into shouting and chaos. 12 hours had passed since the humans were confined to their quarters. The station's artificial day cycle had shifted to night. But Alan couldn't sleep. He paced the small room, thinking about the children somewhere on level 47. Wearing a hole in the floor won't help, Lisa said from her seat by the window. Outside, strange ships moved between stars, their lights blinking against the darkness. We can't just sit here, Alan replied. He lowered his voice. The council lied to us. Those kids didn't sign up to be lab rats. Lisa nodded and pointed to her ear, then to the walls. They might be listening. She took out her datapad and typed, "Security is changing shifts soon. I made a friend in station maintenance who might help." Alan raised an eyebrow but understood. Lisa had spent more time exploring the station, meeting the workers who kept it running. A soft chime at their door made them both jump. Lisa opened it to find a small green-skinned alien with large black eyes and a maintenance uniform. "Quick cleaning," the alien said in broken English. "Standard procedure." Lisa smiled. "Of course. This is Grek, Alan. He's Mirkari." The alien entered, pushing a cart of cleaning supplies. Once inside, he dropped the act. "Not much time," Grek whispered. "Your people in big trouble. Council fighting about you." "We need to find the children," Alan said. Grek's eyes widened. "The small humans?" "Grek knows where, saw them when fixing air systems, bad place, many guards." "Can you take us there?" Lisa asked. "Dangerous. Grek lose job, maybe worse." Alan leaned forward. "Those are our children, Grek. On Earth, nothing is more important than protecting our young." Grek was quiet for a moment, his large eyes blinking, slowly. "Mirkari, same. Council treats my people like tools, not care about our young either." He made a decision. "We'll help, but must be fast. Must be quiet." 20 minutes later, they were moving through maintenance tunnels. The narrow passages were hot and dimly lit. Grek led them down, always down, using service elevators that bypassed security checkpoints. Alan's diplomatic badge had been deactivated, but Grek's maintenance codes got them through locked sections. "Why? Are you helping us?" Alan asked as they crawled through a dusty air shaft. "Council says they bring peace, but they bring rules. Rules that help strong species, hurt weak ones. Mirkari know truth. Humans should know too." They reached level 47 and moved carefully through the shadows. This area was different, cleaner with more security. Grek pointed to a door marked with symbols Alan couldn't read. "Observation room," Grek whispered. "Can see inside. They not see you." Lisa used Grek's access card. The door slid open silently, revealing a dark room with a large one-way window. What they saw beyond the glass made Alan's stomach twist. 27 human children, ages 6 to 12, were in what looked like a school setting. But this was no normal school. The walls were white and bare. Cameras watched from every angle. Alien. Scientists moved among the children, taking notes, collecting samples, running tests. The children were building with blocks, reading on tablets, or exercising. They looked physically well but confused. Some had clearly been crying. "They're studying them like animals," Lisa whispered, her face pale with anger. A small boy, maybe 7 years old, was arguing with an alien researcher. "I want to call my mom," the boy said. "You promised we could call home." "Soon," the alien responded in a flat voice. "First, complete these tasks." Alan took out his personal device and started recording. "This is all the evidence we need. The council can't justify this." Suddenly, a light flashed above the door, an alarm. "Security scan," Grek hissed. "They know someone here. We have to go." Lisa grabbed Alan's arm. "We can't help them if we're caught." Alan nodded reluctantly, still watching the children. "We'll be back," he promised quietly. With help, they slipped out just as security doors began to close. Grek led them into a waste disposal chute. "Only way out now," he said. "Hold breath." As they slid down into darkness, Alan clutched the precious recording. Now they had proof. The question was, who would help them use it? The emergency council session was in its third hour. Representatives from 86 spacefaring civilizations filled the chamber, their voices rising in heated debate. News of the human children had spread quickly. The detention is legal and necessary, insisted Elder Krax, the ancient Dracovian representative. His scaled skin gleamed under the lights as he gestured with clawed hands. Humans display troubling patterns. Their young practice warfare in play. They imagine violence for entertainment. Their brains form differently than ours. This violates our most basic laws, countered Nari, the Vendaran ambassador. Her blue face was marked with symbols of peace. We do not imprison children. We do not study sentient beings without consent. We have invited humans to join our community, not to be our test subjects. The debate raged on, dividing the council. Older species like the Dracovians and Athosians defended the action, while younger civilizations like the Vendarans and Hypatians demanded the children's release. Meanwhile, on Earth, screens in every home showed celestial stations spinning against the stars. The news of the detained children had united humanity in a way nothing else could. In a military command center beneath the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Susan Walsh studied tactical displays with her officers. The room was silent except for the soft beep of computers. "What are our options?" she asked. General Martinez pointed to the screen. "We have 3 ships within range of Celestial Station. They're officially diplomatic vessels, but each carries enough firepower to make a statement." "And if we make that statement?" Walsh asked. "Then we're at war with 86 advanced civilizations," said Martinez grimly. "We would lose." Walsh nodded slowly. "Then we make sure it doesn't come to that. Prepare the ships for rescue only, not combat. We go in quiet, get our kids, and leave." Back on Celestial Station, Alan, Lisa, and Greg had found temporary safety in an abandoned storage area. They sat on metal containers, studying the station map on Lisa's device. "The message is spreading," Lisa said, showing Alan her screen. The video of the children had been sent through Greg's underground network of station workers. Half the council species are now demanding explanations. "Not enough," Alan replied. "The children remain locked up, and we're still fugitives." Greg's communicator beeped. The little alien checked it and made a chirping sound of surprise. "New message. Someone wants to meet, someone important." "It could be a trap," warned Lisa. "No choice," said Alan. "We need allies." They followed Greg through service tunnels to a small garden area. The artificial environment was designed to resemble an alien world, with strange blue plants and a bubbling pond. Waiting there was a tall figure in elegant white robes. "Ambassador Nari," Lisa whispered in recognition. The Vendaran turned, her blue face serene despite the risk she was taking. "You are brave to come. Braver still to challenge the council." "We just want our children back," said Alan. "And you shall have them," Nari replied. "But you must understand what you face. The elder species fear humans in ways you cannot imagine." "Because our children play pretend?" Lisa asked. "Because your species adapts faster than any we have encountered," Nari explained. "You form bonds with unlike beings. You imagine futures that do not exist, then make them real. Some find this threatening." Alan shook his head. "That's no reason to cage children." "I agree," said Nari. "And many others do too. The council is splitting apart over this issue. Some call for your immediate removal from celestial territory. Others demand we make amends." "What do you suggest?" asked Alan. "The human ships approaching our space, are they coming in peace?" Nari asked directly. Alan hesitated. "How did you know about that?" "We monitor the space lanes." "Will they attack?" "They're coming for the children," Alan admitted. "They want to avoid conflict if possible." Nari nodded. "Then we have little time. The Dracovians are pushing to classify humans as a danger species and expel all human representatives. If that happens before your ships arrive, any human vessel entering council space could be fired upon. We need to move now," Lisa said urgently. "Yes," agreed Nari. "And you will not move alone. The children have become a symbol of either the wisdom of caution or the failure of our principles. The choice the Council makes today will shape our future for centuries. As she spoke, alarms began to sound throughout the station. A voice announced, "Attention! Unidentified vessels approaching Celestial Station. All security personnel to alert status." "Your people have arrived," said Nari. "Now we must act quickly, or risk war on Earth." The crisis had united nations that rarely agreed on anything. In a rare joint broadcast, leaders from every major country addressed their citizens. Behind them stood Jack Harrison, a construction worker from Ohio whose daughter Lily was among the detained children. "My little girl just wanted to learn about the stars," Jack said, his voice breaking. "She was so excited to meet aliens, to be part of something bigger than our world. Now I don't know if I'll ever see her again." His words, translated into hundreds of languages, spread across Earth and beyond. Even alien networks picked up the broadcast. Jack's pain was something any parent in the galaxy could understand. In orbit above Earth, ships from countries that had been enemies just weeks ago now prepared to launch together. Not as an attack force, but with a single mission: bring the children home. On Celestial Station, Alan and his growing group of allies moved carefully through the less monitored sections. Ambassador Nari had brought 2 more supporters: Zex, a 4-armed security officer who disagreed with the detention order, and Dr. Prill, a medical researcher who believed the study of the children was deeply unethical. "I've studied your species for years," Dr. Prill told Alan as they walked. The doctor's transparent skin showed swirling patterns of thought beneath. "Humans are unusual, but not dangerous in the way the elders claim." "Then why are they so afraid of us?" Lisa asked. "Because you change so quickly," Prill explained. "Most species take thousands of years to develop new technologies or social systems. Humans do it in decades. The elders find this unsettling." They reached a small meeting room where Greg had gathered a surprising number of station workers, maintenance staff, food service workers, and lower-level employees from a dozen different species. "These are my friends," Greg said proudly. "All tired of council lies, all want to help." Alan looked at the unlikely group. "We need to reach the children before the situation escalates. The human ships will be here soon." Nari stepped forward. "I have emergency council codes that will get us past most security, but the final doors to the children's area need special access." "I can override them," Zex offered, his 4 hands moving quickly as he explained. "But it will trigger alarms." "We'll need a distraction," Lisa said. A small, fuzzy alien raised a tentacle.
"Kitchen staff can help. We can trigger fire systems in main hub. Very convincing emergency." Alan nodded. "Good. That leaves one problem: getting the children off the station once we have them." "The docking bay on level 30 has emergency shuttles,"
said a tall, thin maintenance worker. "Enough for all the small humans. I can prepare one. Make it ready." As they finalized their plan, Alan's device beeped with an incoming transmission, heavily encrypted, bounced through multiple relays to hide its origin. It was from Admiral Walsh. "Carter, this is Admiral Walsh of the Earth Defense Fleet. Our ships will reach Celestial Station in 6 hours. Our mission is extraction only, not combat. Can you confirm status of the children?" "They're alive and well," Alan responded, "but held in a secure facility. We're planning to reach them before you arrive." "Understood. We'll create a diplomatic diversion to cover your movements. Be advised, Council ships are moving to intercept us. If they fire first, I cannot guarantee we won't respond." The transmission ended. Alan looked at the faces around him, human and alien alike, all willing to risk their safety for children they'd never met. "We have 6 hours," he told them. "Let's move." Across the station in the Grand Council chamber, the debate had turned ugly. Elder Crack stood before the assembly, his voice booming through the hall. "The approaching human vessels prove my point. They respond with force, not diplomacy. This species cannot be trusted with council membership." "They come for their children," countered Nari's assistant, speaking in her absence. "As would any of us." "Then let us vote," hissed Cracks. Shall humans be classified as a danger species and removed from council space? Or shall we return there young and pretend this incident never happened? As the council prepared to vote, station sensors detected the first human ships entering the outer defense perimeter. On bridge displays throughout the station, countdown timers began ticking down to possible conflict. In the children's holding area, young Billy Porter, age 12, gathered the other kids around him. "Something's happening," he whispered. "I can feel it. Get ready. We might be going home soon." The emergency council session reached its 5th hour as new evidence was presented. Elder Mosa of the Athosians, one of the oldest species in the galaxy, activated the central display. Images filled the air above the council floor. "For those who question our caution regarding humans," Elder Mosa said, her voice thin but powerful, "observe our research." The display showed human history, wars, conflicts, but also moments of incredible kindness, sacrifice, and innovation. Then it shifted to images of human children playing. "Note the patterns," Mosa continued. "Human children engage in play that simulates conflict. They create imaginary enemies. They practice defense strategies and form protective groups." Many council members shifted uncomfortably. Such behavior was unknown among their young. "Unlike any other known species," Mosa explained, "humans develop through imaginative conflict scenarios. Their young rehearse for dangers that do not exist," a Hypatian representative interrupted. "This seems harmless. All young play." "Not like this," countered Mosa. "Our studies show human brain development is unique. They form social bonds through shared challenges. They create family units with non-blood relatives. They adopt young from other family groups, even from other species." This caused murmurs among the council. Adoption was rare among most alien civilizations. "Most concerning," Mosa continued, "humans show extreme protective responses toward all young, not just their own. Our scientists theorize this makes them unpredictable allies and potentially dangerous enemies." At that moment, the doors to the council chamber burst open. Alan, Lisa, and Ambassador Nari entered, followed by Dr. Prill. Station security moved to stop them, but hesitated when they saw Nari. "This session will hear new evidence," Nari announced firmly. Before anyone could object, Alan stepped forward and activated the recording they had made in the observation room. The images of confused, captive children replaced Mosa's presentation. "This is what your research really looks like," Alan said, his voice echoing in the suddenly silent chamber. "You've trapped children who came here to learn and make friends." Elder Krax rose from his seat. "The human speaks out of turn. Remove them." "No," said a new voice. A human woman stepped into the chamber from a side entrance. "Let him speak." Alan was shocked to see Dr. Elaine Winters, Earth's leading xenobiologist. She had been part of the advance team sent to the station months earlier. "Dr. Winters," Lisa said in surprise, "you're working with them?" "I was told the children were volunteers," Dr. Winters explained, her face showing shame, "that their parents had consented to harmless behavioral studies." She turned to face the council. "I've worked alongside your scientists for months, but what we're doing here is wrong. These are children, not specimens." Elder Mosa remained calm. "The studies are necessary. Humans develop differently from all known sentient species. Their young show concerning traits." "You mean imagination, creativity, playfulness?" Dr. Winters challenged. "We mean their ability to form fighting units instinctively," said Elder Krax. "Their tendency to create conflict scenarios even in safe environments. Their unusual protectiveness toward young, including non-relatives." Alan stepped forward. "Those aren't flaws. They're strengths. Human children play at conflict so they can learn to avoid it in reality. They imagine dangers so they can prepare for them without facing actual harm." Lisa joined him. "And yes, we protect all children, not just our own. On Earth, there's no higher value than keeping children safe. All children." The council members looked at each other. Some seemed thoughtful, others unmoved. Your approaching warships suggest otherwise, Elder Cracks noted. Those ships come to protect, not attack, Alan replied. But make no mistake, humans will fight if we must to save our children. The chamber fell silent as the enormity of the situation sank in. Then a small alarm sounded from multiple communication devices. On screens throughout the chamber, a red warning flashed. Human vessels have entered defensive perimeter, announced an automated voice. Weapon systems online, awaiting command, authorization. Elder Mosa looked grave. It seems we have run out of time for debate. We must vote now, stand down our defenses and release the human children, or treat these approaching ships as hostile. As tension filled the chamber, Dr. Winters stepped closer to Alan and whispered, "There's something they're not telling the full council. The children haven't just been observed, they've been changing the observers. Several scientists have requested reassignment because they've grown too attached to their human subjects." Alan's eyes widened. "The very trait they fear in us is affecting them?" Dr. Winters nodded. "Exactly. And that scares the elders more than anything." As Admiral Walsh's ships approached Celestial Station, tension filled every corner of the massive structure. The station's defensive systems were now fully activated with weapon arrays tracking the incoming human vessels. On the command deck, the station's security chief looked nervous. "The human ships are maintaining their approach but have not charged weapons. They are broadcasting a message on all channels." "Let us hear it," ordered the Zalarian administrator. The speakers crackled to life. Admiral Walsh's steady voice filled the room. "Celestial Station, this is Admiral Susan Walsh of Earth Defense Fleet. We come on a diplomatic mission to retrieve our citizens. We seek peaceful resolution. Please respond." While the station leadership debated their response, Alan's rescue team put their plan into motion. The kitchen staff had triggered emergency protocols in the central hub, creating chaos and drawing security personnel away from the detention area. "Now's our chance," Alan said, checking his communicator. "Zex, are you in position?" "Affirmative," came the four-armed security officer's reply. "Ready at the south access point to level 47. Alan nodded to Lisa, Dr. Winters, and Greg. "Let's move." They hurried through service corridors following Greg's lead. The small alien knew every shortcut on the station. When they reached the secure entrance to level 47, Zex was waiting with Ambassador Nari. "The council is still voting," Nari told them. "But we cannot wait for politics. The children must be moved now." "What about the defensive systems targeting our ships?" Lisa asked. "I am working on that too," Nari assured her. "Not all council members want conflict." Zex moved to the security panel, his four hands working quickly on the controls. "This will trigger alarms when I override it. We'll have minutes at most." "Do it," Alan said. Zex pressed the final sequence. The heavy doors slid open with a hiss and alarms immediately began to wail. The group rushed inside following Dr. Winters, who knew the layout of the research facility. "This way," she directed them down a bright white corridor. "The children are kept in the central area." They rounded a corner and found themselves face to face with 4 security guards. Before anyone could react, Zex stepped forward and spoke rapidly in the guards' language. To Alan's surprise, 2 of the guards lowered their weapons. "They agree with us," Zex explained. "The other 2 will need convincing." The remaining guards hesitated, then slowly backed away. "They won't stop us," Zex said, "but they won't help either." The group continued forward until they reached a large white door labeled with alien symbols. Dr. Winters pressed her hand to the scanner, and the door opened. Inside was a large open space divided into areas for learning, sleeping, and play. The 27 human children looked up in surprise as the door opened. They had been in the middle of a meal. "Dr. Winters?" a young girl asked, standing up. "What's happening?" Before she could answer, a boy about 12 years old stepped forward. "You're here to rescue us, aren't you?" he asked Alan directly. This was Billy Porter, the oldest of the children. "Yes," Alan confirmed, "we're taking you home." Instead of the panic or confusion Alan expected, the children immediately organized themselves. Billy and a girl named Kate Simmons, who was 11, quickly directed the younger children to form pairs. Each big kid takes responsibility for a little kid, Billy explained. We've been practicing. Practicing? Lisa asked in surprise. We knew someone would come, Kate said simply. We've been planning too. Alan noticed something odd about the room. Where are all the researchers? They left an hour ago, Billy explained. Something about a council vote, but they're watching us on cameras. As if to confirm his words, a new alarm sounded. A computerized voice announced, "Security breach on level 47. All personnel respond. Containment failure." We need to move fast, Dr. Winters urged. The emergency shuttles are 3 levels up. We know a faster way, Billy said confidently. We've been mapping the facility through the air vents. He led them to what looked like a solid wall and pressed a hidden panel. A section slid open, revealing a maintenance tunnel. How did you find this? Dr. Winters asked, amazed. Jake can hear the difference in the wall materials, Billy explained, pointing to a small boy with glasses. And Mia figured out the lock pattern by watching the staff. As the children filed into the hidden passage, Lisa whispered to Alan, "These kids aren't victims, they're a team." That's what the council fears, Alan realized. Not that humans are violent, but that we're adaptable, even our children. As they moved through the hidden passage, Alan's communicator beeped with an urgent message from Admiral Walsh. Defensive systems are targeting our ships. Negotiations failing. Time is running out. The hidden passage was narrow and dimly lit, but the children moved through it with practiced ease. Billy Porter led the way, with Kate Simmons bringing up the rear to make sure no one fell behind. They had clearly used these tunnels before. We found these passages 3 weeks ago, Billy explained as they crawled through a tight section. The aliens don't fit in here, so they never check them. How often did you explore? Lisa asked, impressed by their knowledge of the layout. Every night after they thought we were asleep, Kate replied from behind. We made maps. She pulled a carefully drawn map from her pocket, showing detailed routes through the station's maintenance system. The adults exchanged surprised looks. We've been learning their language too, added a small girl named May. They didn't know we could understand them. That's how we found out they're scared of us, Billy said. They kept talking about how humans form pack bonds too easily, how we're unpredictable. The group reached a junction where the passage split in 3 directions. Billy pointed confidently to the right path. This way leads to the shuttle bay. We've never gone all the way, but our map shows it's the fastest route. As they continued, Alan's communicator buzzed again. Ambassador Nari took it and spoke rapidly in her language. When she finished, her face looked worried. The council vote is deadlocked, she told the others. Elder Krax has ordered defensive systems to fire warning shots at your ships if they come any closer. We need more time, Alan said. No, Billy interrupted. We need a distraction. Everyone looked at the 12-year-old boy in surprise. Gamir. Alien scientists have been studying us for months, Billy explained. They think they understand how human children behave. We can use that. What do you mean? Dr. Winters asked. Remember last week when Jake had that meltdown and all the researchers rushed in? Billy asked her. Dr. Winters nodded. The tantrum incident. It triggered all their alarm protocols. It wasn't a real tantrum, Jake said with a small smile. I was pretending. Billy told me to. Billy turned to the other children. We need another distraction, something bigger. The aliens think we're just kids who miss our parents and cry when we're scared. They don't realize we've been working together this whole time. The children nodded, immediately understanding. They huddled together, whispering plans with the kind of seriousness adults rarely expect from children. They're going to create a distraction, Lisa realized. So we can reach the shuttles. Alan watched in amazement as the children organized themselves without argument or confusion. Each knew their role. The youngest ones would create noise in certain areas, drawing attention. The older ones would disable monitoring systems they had learned how to jam. How did you become so coordinated? Alan asked Billy. We had to, the boy replied simply. When they separated us from our parents, we still needed a family, so we made one here. This was exactly what the alien researchers had observed and feared, humans forming tight social bonds in response to stress. But they had misunderstood. It wasn't a threat. It was survival. The group reached the end of the maintenance tunnel, which opened near the shuttle bay. Security was heavy with guards patrolling the area. "Now we need the distraction," Alan said, peering around the corner. "It's already happening," Kate replied, checking her watch. The children had synchronized their timekeeping using meal schedules. Across the facility, alarms began blaring in multiple sections. Security monitors showed what appeared to be children escaping in different directions, fighting each other, having medical emergencies, and tampering with equipment. But how? Zex asked, his forearms gesturing in confusion as he watched the monitors. "The children are all here." "Recordings," Billy explained. "We've been making videos of ourselves during free time, hiding them on their own computers. We just set them all to play at once on different screens," a small boy piped up. "I changed the system so the videos look like live camera feeds." The security forces were now rushing in multiple directions, unsure which emergencies were real. The path to the shuttle bay was clearing. "That's our chance," Greg said. "We must go now." As they prepared to move, Alan's communicator signaled again. This time it was Admiral Walsh. "Carter, our ships are being targeted. The station has fired warning shots. We can't approach further without risking open conflict." "We're almost at the shuttle bay," Alan told her. "The children are with us." "Understood. If you can launch, we'll cover your escape." Billy overheard this and turned to the other children. "Change of plans. We need to move faster." The children immediately adapted, once again demonstrating the flexibility that so unnerved the council species. As they approached the shuttle bay entrance, a group of security guards appeared ahead. "Back quick," Alan whispered. "No," said Billy firmly. "We have another way." To everyone's surprise, the boy stepped forward, alone, in full view of the guards. "Billy." Porter walked straight toward the guards, his hands raised in a peaceful gesture. The security team raised their weapons but seemed unsure what to do with a lone human child. "I need to speak to the council," Billy said in perfect Zellarian. "Right now." The guards looked at each other in confusion. They hadn't expected a human child to speak their language, let alone make such a direct request. "This is not permitted," one guard finally replied. "Check the emergency protocols," Billy suggested calmly. Section 12, paragraph 7 states that any sentient being may request emergency council audience during a crisis. This is definitely a crisis. The lead guard checked his tablet, eyes widening in surprise. "How do you know our laws?" "We had access to your educational database," Billy explained. "We read everything." While the guards were distracted by Billy, the other children and adults moved quietly along a parallel corridor, following Kate's directions toward the shuttle bay. Billy was buying them precious time. In the council chamber, chaos reigned. The defensive systems had fired warning shots at the human ships, which had stopped their approach but remained in position. Half the council demanded peaceful resolution while others called for the humans to be expelled from council space entirely. Suddenly, the main doors opened. Every head turned to see a small human boy escorted by confused-looking guards. "What is the meaning of this?" demanded Elder Cracks. "My name is Ryan Peters," the boy said. He was just 8 years old, but his voice carried clearly through the vast chamber. "I want to ask you a question." The council fell silent, stunned by the child's appearance and composure. "Why are you afraid of us?" Ryan asked simply. Elder Mosa leaned forward. "We are not afraid, young human. We are cautious. Your species shows concerning traits." "You mean how we play?" Ryan asked. "Or how we make new families? Or how we learn your languages?" "All of these things," Mosa confirmed. "You adapt too quickly. You form bonds with unlike beings. You imagine dangers even in safety." Ryan nodded thoughtfully. "I understand. But can I tell you why we do those things?" Without waiting for permission, he continued, "We play at fighting so we learn to solve problems without real fighting. We make new families because humans need connections to be happy. We imagine danger so we can practice being brave without getting hurt. The chamber was completely still now, all eyes on this small human. You've been watching us for months, Ryan said. Did you see us hurting each other? Did we try to escape until today? Did we refuse to learn about you? The council members looked at each other. The answer to all these questions was no. Humans adapt because we want to understand, Ryan explained. We connect because we believe different can be good. We protect children, all children, because that's how we measure goodness. As Ryan spoke, Alan and the others had reached the shuttle bay. With Zex's help, they prepared a ship large enough for everyone. But now Alan hesitated, listening to the station-wide broadcast of Ryan's words to the council. We should wait, he told the others. Something's happening. In the council chamber, Elder Crack stood. Touching words, young human. But your ships approach with weapons. Your people break our laws. Because you took children, Ryan replied. Any species would come for their young. Wouldn't yours? This simple question caused visible reactions across the chamber. It was a truth none could deny. Elder Mosa raised her hand. I propose a new vote. The study of humans has provided enough data. It has shown us not that humans are dangerous, but that they are different in ways we must understand, not fear. Across the station, tension began to ease as the council's vote shifted. The defensive systems powered down. Communication channels reopened between the station and Earth ships. The crisis was passing. 3 days later, Alan stood in the same docking bay watching a very different scene. The human children were boarding shuttles to return home, but they weren't alone. A small group of alien children, the first ever, Galactic Council Youth Ambassadors, was preparing to travel to Earth for a reciprocal exchange program. The Celestial Accords, Ambassador Nari explained, showing Alan the newly drafted agreement. Humanity will join the Council, but with a special status. You will help us bridge understanding between different species. Because we form bonds so easily? Alan asked with a smile. Precisely, Nari confirmed. What we feared most about you may be your greatest gift to the galaxy. As the shuttles prepared for departure, Billy Porter approached Alan one last time. We'll be back, the boy said confidently. There's to